welcome to BWI's Women's Wrestling channel. And of course, here is what I'll be talking about different topics in women's wrestling. And as such, that is the point of this video. I will be talking a lot about WWE's women's wrestling, and then I'll post a video later on in the week talking about all other kinds of women's wrestling. There isn't really a lot to talk about, but anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with our first topic to talk about, and that is the tease of Brie Bella returning to the ring. She posted on Twitter when I think it was last week. Yeah, it was last week when Nikki got attacked, saying basically, oh hell no, Carmella, you messed with the wrong Bella. I don't know what she exactly said, but the point is, she teased a return. Should Brie Bella return? I honestly think that she shouldn't, and she's not. I don't think she will be, and honestly don't think she should. I think we need to see Nikki as a singles competitor. I feel like she should first prove what she has as a singles competitor before Brie Bella returns. Because if Brie Bella returns, we're honestly just gonna get the Bella twins together at all times. We're gonna get cheating and cheating and cheating and cheating and cheating, and I don't want to see that all the time. I love the Bella twins. I'm a Bella twin fan, but I love women's wrestling, and I want the whole women's division to benefit from it. If Brie Bella were to return, have them go up against a struggling, up and coming underrated tag team and put them over. Now, moving on to a Comic Con interview that I saw. It was about it was just like a lot of things, and in there, Brie Bella would say that she's kind of wanting to be a mother, and so that's why she isn't returning anytime soon, or that's why I believe she isn't returning. Obviously, that was the first thing that was happening, the whole point of her leaving. But a big highlight of it was when she was asked, when Nikki was asked if she hated AJ Lee or disliked AJ Lee, like what was the problem there. And bros, did she keep it 100%? She basically, first of all, tried to save it by saying, there was certainly something there. And then eventually she would come out to say that AJ Lee really did shame the women on Total Divas, and that she really was taking away from women who have done things and everything that Nikki has worked for, because they did work for stuff before they met John Cena, whether you want to admit it or not. And AJ Lee was just sort of demeaning it. That's Nikki's words. She was trying to just take everything away that women like Natalya, Naomi, her, and everyone who's on Total Divas, she was taking that work away from them, and that's why her and AJ didn't go along. And so AJ Lee and her, she was always playing nice and respecting AJ Lee, and she still respects AJ Lee till this day as a competitor. But would they ever like each other? No. And that's basically what I got from this, and I was just a bit astonished as to how she kept it real and said how the two didn't get along, and even how Nikki got in trouble for her promo on SmackDown. It's crazy. But I gotta kind of agree with Nikki. AJ Lee, I get where she was coming from. She wanted to change the perception of the term diva and the whole divas division, and that is amazing. I will always respect AJ Lee as such, but the way she did it, I will never ever respect it, and that'll be a whole different video. Now up next, as you can see, NXT's Women's Division. Asuka's probably going to be getting called up soon, and there are some potential faces that could probably fill in, first of all, the void that Carmella and Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax and Bayley now all left. Here are just three names right here in front of right here with amazing gimmicks. As you can see, Billie Kay, Ember Moon, and Peyton Royce. Look, these three ladies have really great gimmicks, as I just mentioned. I love Billie Kay's mysterious femme fatale gimmick. I like the way she is. I like her theme. It goes hard. I love her whole character, her mysterious character. It's kind of like a revamped Oksana in a way. And, sorry, Peyton Royce has the same thing going on. I think she's very mysterious and really fitting into her slithering. It's like her characters are very, I don't know. She slithers around the ring. I don't get what her character is so much yet. I know it's like the Venus flytrap or something like that, but she's doing. I just like it. I don't care. I don't know what it is, but I just know I like it. And then Ember Moon, you know, amazing in the ring, and her gimmick seems to be pretty badass. Needless to say, a Mortal Kombat character. Then you have another name like Liv Morgan, who could possibly take Carmella's spot. Aaliyah, who could possibly take Alexa Bliss's spot. Ember Moon, who could take the title away from Asuka, and then Asuka's gonna eventually go up, and you have Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, formidable and worthy opponents and contenders for said title. So I think the NXT Women's Division really needs to start vamping up their um their craft. They really do have some really great names and potential faces. And yeah, that being said, I'm very looking forward to seeing as to how they book all of these ladies. Billy Kay is my strong one here. Up next, though, is if Bailey should become women's champion sooner rather than later. And I will talk more about this in the way I book Raw, the video. That will be up tomorrow, Friday. I will be talking a lot about how Bailey should be booked as a champ, but I don't think she should be champ just yet. I think if you're gonna have Charlotte drop the title, no, don't have her drop it at the next pay per view. She recently did win it, but and I know people don't want to see her as champion right now because they're just done with it. But it's the last option, and Bailey as champ would be too soon, and it'd be kind of a slap to the face for women such as Paige, Summer, Alicia Fox. These were women who have been there longer than Bailey. So Bailey winning the title like that isn't a good decision, and it's not a smart move. I don't think she should. Anyways, moving on from that, I just mentioned Paige, Summer, and Fox, and here they are. What should WWE do with Fox, Summer, and Paige? Look, these ladies are struggling. These three ladies are the jobbers of the women's division. There are no jobbers in SmackDown. There are barely any jobbers in NXT. But if there's any jobbers in the women's division, it's on Raw. I mean, not even TNA. Raw. You know, I hate the fact, first of all, Paige is suspended, but I hate the fact how Summer Rae and Fox, and even Paige before that, were just used so poorly, and they're just used to put someone over. At this point, what I think WWE should do is in the next draft, have either Fox and Summer, if not both, Fox or Summer, or both, sent over to SmackDown. I feel like those two ladies will get the opportunity on SmackDown, and at the end of the video, I'll talk more about the draft and why SmackDown's women's division eventually scares me when the draft comes around. But anyways, that being said, I think really Fox and Paige should be going to SmackDown. If not, have these three ladies once Paige's suspension is up, or if not, have Fox and Summer right now either have a feud or have these three pair up. Eventually, don't have the whole debacle of Divas Revolution thing going on, that whole mess. Kind of book it right, WWE. And if you guys need me to do that, I got you. But that being said, I want to see these three ladies really being pushed. And I feel like pairing the three up with evil intentions in mind, like with them turning against each other to have, the title eventually, that'll be a perfect way to book them. Book them as a strong, formidable team that's really underrated. You can even call them Team Underrates if you want. Having come out to confront Sasha, Charlotte, and Bailey, and Nia, even say how they paved the way for these ladies, and how Paige, especially in Summer, helped pave the way in the NXT Women's Division, helped build it up from the bottom to the top to what it is now, and how Foxy is a veteran who has been here for 8 years or so and still hasn't gotten the right recognition that she deserves. Have them do that, and then on the side have Paige, Summer, and Fox have like little individual like camera interviews or something, like a camera segment where like they're talking to themselves and the fans are all seeing like they have evil intentions in mind. Like you could have Fox or Summer would make most sense, like saying, oh, they're so stupid, like I'm just gonna end up turning on them and taking the title. Obviously not have her say that specifically, but have them all have the title in mind, and that'll really help them being booked and built to take on Charlotte or whoever's champion. But that brings me to my next point. Is Charlotte an unsafe worker? Now, Charlotte, I don't know if you've heard, but Charlotte did get yelled at SummerSlam. She got yelled at for being unsafe. Well, not necessarily for being unsafe, but for being careless, I guess, in dropping Sasha Banks in the back of her head. Um, Look, I like Charlotte, and everyone botches. Everyone botches. Everyone messes up. But Charlotte has put some women in danger. She's concussed. She concussed Fox at earlier in 2015. And then she dropped Sasha in the back of her head, and then she gave a black eye to Becky, or I don't know how all that situation was. But look, I don't think Charlotte, of course, she doesn't do this intentionally. And they were all pretty much separated. Charlotte, for the most part, I think something is just throwing Charlotte off her game. I don't know if it's just the pressure of being champ. I don't know if it's the pressure of her being champ too soon. Because let's face it, she is a bit too green in the main roster. She's used to wrestling a little bit more low key in NXT, and I guess the whole year just being pushed really gets to you. And yeah, she's not gonna have the most favorable run at first. She's really, really off her game. I think Charlotte though has really gotten better in the ring, on the mic, in her character, and as a champ overall. And the way what happened at SummerSlam, of course, that was a big accident. And what happened with Fox, another big accident. What happened with Becky, of course, another accident. Those are just three accidents, but again, you gotta take into consideration they're pushing Charlotte way too quick, and that's another problem that WWE never looks for when it comes to the women. They just push whoever they want without thinking how soon is this, or was the fans are the fans going to react great. There's a lot of key elements that WWE never looks at. So Charlotte being an unsafe worker, I don't think so. Just something's throwing her off. Anyways, finally is the next WWE draft. I don't know when it is. I don't, but I really do care when it is. Or how it happens, at least. At least for the women's division. Look, the guys roster, I'll get into that another time in the guys channel or in the regular channel, but here I want to mainly talk about the women. I feel like any big name from NXT, such as Asuka, or and should just go to Raw. I feel like women like Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Asuka, Naya, those ladies should really stay on Raw. They just have to stay there. They all have to go to Raw and or stay on Raw, because SmackDown's women's division is for more of the underrated women, and Nikki is probably the only exception I have to go to SmackDown because she's helping build a division. But once that's all out of the question, I want Nikki to go to Raw. I feel like Nikki should absolutely go to Raw and leave the women there, start doing their own crap. Just help build the division at first, the SmackDown Women's Division, and then leave once it's all good. I don't care if Cena's on that brand. Nikki, do what's best for business. Do what's best for the women's division if you truly care about women's wrestling. I love the Bella Twins, but look, I think. Anyway, sorry. I think that Raw is not the opportunity for women. Raw is never going to be the opportunity for for underrated women. I feel like it's just going to have big names like Asuka, Nikki, Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Naya. Those are the women you're going to get. Those are the women that should be on Raw. SmackDown should have women like Fox, Summer, Paige, Naomi. SmackDown to me is just more of the wrestling show, more of the show that gets the chance. And SmackDown is more of the show that will, you SmackDown is like the show that would make the names. They'll make them bigger. They'll make, I feel like SmackDown will take someone who's absolutely no one or doesn't get a pop, and will make sure that they get a reaction when they go out there, whether it's a bad one or whether it's a good one. And look at what Carmella has been doing. People have been booing her. No, she didn't get a reaction when she was faced. They said, well, what do we do? Have her attack the biggest asset to SmackDown, and Nikki Bella. And, now Carmella gets a reaction when she goes out there. And that's what I'm talking about. SmackDown will do that. SmackDown will take any woman who's not being favored on Raw or in the women's division on WWE, and they'll turn them into something formidable and something, you know, um, I forgot the word, threatening, at least, something big. Um, yeah, that's what I think the WWE draft that's what should happen. I think if they're gonna call up Asuka, have her go to Raw. And I know there's already, like, oh, but they're probably gonna do a Bailey and Asuka feud again, or Nia and Bailey and Asuka. F it, Let SmackDown build their women up before you go and ruin it, because that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna ruin it. If any big, 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 big name goes to SmackDown, it will ruin the SmackDown Women's Division, because you'll just see, if Charlotte goes to SmackDown, you'll just see Charlotte. If Asuka goes to SmackDown, you'll get the undefeated Asuka. Unless if they're planning to put Becky Lynch or anybody on that roster, defeat them. I don't want to see anyone bigger. That's what SmackDown really hasn't done. You have, of course, Nikki, probably the bigger one, but at the same time, they have Alexa being booked, you know, to take on a big role as the face, and Becky as well. Anyways, sorry, I got sidetracked. Yeah, that was it for this video, though. A bit fast, but at the same time, there it is. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for a more in-depth thing of these individual topics. Leave more questions down. If there's one topic you want me to go over more, comment that as well. Bye.